Hi. Hello. Let's talk about this. Eee. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Umbriel and welcome to the maanknitwear. Well, not a podcast, everything I knit in 2022. Let's put my tea away. All right, I have a lot I've knitted in 2022, and if you followed me before, you know I was on a holiday for 2 months. Well, it wasn't technically a holiday, but I wasn't here. I wasn't with my finished items, and now I'm back. So I can finally show you everything that I knitted in 2022. So let's just get started. I got my laptop there for reference if I need some help with my memory. But hopefully I can just do it from memory. All my knits are down here. I'll just show them to you over here, and I'll put in some footage of me wearing it while I talk about it. First thing I finished was this sweater. This is my novice sweater by Petite Knit. And I knitted this in January at the beginning of the year. I knitted this in the Mayflower Cotton Merino by Hobby. It's a DK weight yarn. And I had these balls of yarn, which I bought for the Maya cardigan, which actually that has a completely different recommended yarn. So I realized that, and then I thought, okay, what else can I knit with it? I had this pattern in a sewing magazine. Okay, this is already really long talk about where this came from, but yeah, so I had all these different yarns, colors of the same yarn, and then I figured out like the ratio between the colors. If I would take all the skeins that I had, I don't remember how much I had of every skein, but I ended up with a repeat of 9 rows of the lilac, 3 rows of the black, 3 rows of the blue, 9 rows of the green. So there's blue in the middle here. And I feel like it looks like, yeah, in Dutch we say like English licorice. I don't know, you know those square things with the black line in the middle with white on one side and then pink or brown on the other side? You see? I look like that, don't I? The pattern is super easy. It's a really beginner friendly pattern. By the start of 2022, I felt like I just wanted to have something finished, so I casted this one on. It doesn't have short rows, so that would be a shortcoming for me, kind of. But I don't really notice it that much. I feel like maybe because of the circular yoke, but I don't know. If you have any tips on that, let me know. And the only downfall I would say is here you can see the increases very well. Because it's a circular yoke and because the yarn that I used was a DK weight and I used 6mm needles, so it's kind of a loose gauge, and that fact also made it pill a lot because I made a hat in the same yarn and that doesn't pill at all, and that's 4mm needles, so there you have it. Oh, and also the collar kept falling down, so what I did is reinforce it. I sewed it back. I sewed it down to make a folded collar, and it's pretty nice. So actually I wore this all day today, and I never grabbed for it, but today I was wearing it and it's really good. It's a really nice sweater, so yeah, I'm happy with it. That's the verdict, I guess. All right, next up, because we got a lot of things. Next up is this little camisole top. It is the Clueless top by Knit Stitch Repeats, who is Becca. Her name is Knit Stitch Repeat on Instagram, and it's like the simplest top ever. It's just a tube, and I used Hobby Sephira for the body, and then boucle yarn for the top. Her sample has like all these wild colors and then some like fluffy at the top. But I have boucle, and that does kind of the same thing, a little less. But yeah, I think it's cute. As cute as it is, I never wear it, so maybe I should start. But yeah, if you are a beginner knitter, this would be a perfect way to like get like something that you would love, you know, that is not a scarf. So yeah, item number 2. Item number 3 is, I'm just gonna go through them quick, so if you have any questions about them, just let me know. Item number 3 is this thing that's gonna blow out, which is a black cardigan. It is my cardigan number 7 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And what I used for yarn is I took apart a cardigan that I never wore, half acrylic, half cotton, I think. And then I ripped that one all the way out. A lot of fluff flying around. I held those two together, and then I used black mohair that I bought on Color Mart, and that created this nice sweater. It's knit on 7mm needles, as this pattern suggests. But I feel like if you take apart a sweater, it's like noodle yarn, right? So I knit it with that without like washing it in between. So it was kind of noodly and the strand of mohair wasn't. So I felt like it was like falling or something. Like, I don't really know how to, it was like gapey, but not really. But the mohair was definitely the thinnest thread and had to hold all that heavy cotton acrylic together. So what I did is I put it in the washing machine. So it was really interesting to see what would happen. And I did notice that the mohair kind of felted, and it shrunk a little bit to like help it put the rest of the yarn together. So I guess it did work. Because and then it didn't felt completely, because like it didn't shrink all the way in, because there was so much yarn that wouldn't felt. So yeah, I don't really use this. So oops. I went from a cardigan I never used, took it apart, knitted it again, never used it anymore again. And I think that is because of lack of short rows. So as you can see, it's super beginner friendly as well. I have a lot of beginner friendly patterns. At the start, it will get it will get a lot harder in a little bit, but yeah. So as you can see here, it doesn't have any short rows. So this is just as high as this. The front and the back is just as high, and then at the bottom, the front keeps falling forward, which short rows make your back kind of longer because it gives you more space here. So what I noticed with this cardigan is that the front, those two like front pieces hang lower than the back. So something to consider if you're making this. Yeah, so it really is the fit. Next one is this. I told you that it was going to get a little harder. This is the August camisole, which I've test knitted for Colibri by Johanna, which is this really cute minimalistic cable. And I knitted this with knitting for Olive Merino, and I really like this top. I don't wear it enough. I think I don't wear it enough because it's not that long, because I was really done with doing these cables. But I did do the amount that was suggested in the pattern, so I did that. But yeah, you can see it's kind of short. So if you would knit this, it's a beautiful top. I think you just need to knit it longer. And yeah, I don't have that much to say about this. It's nice. The testing was a little rough, I remember, because there were a lot of things that needed to change. But maybe what's fun to show is that the back is a little different. Like, it's a lot steeper than the front. So I like that little twist, that it's not exactly the same. Yeah, it's a really nice top, I think. All right, next up, we're staying in the beige area. This is when I realized, when I was doing the other top and this top, that I needed more neutrals, because most of the things that I've knitted are pretty chaotic and pretty colorful. So I needed more neutrals because that's what you actually tend to wear. Well, me, don't have to at all, but yeah, it's a balance, right? All right, so then I knitted the Colette tee by Vitre Design in Sandnes Garn Duo. That's the yarn, and I love this shirt. I wear this all the time. It's nice and like, it's a good length. It's not cropped. It's like perfect to tug in high-waisted pants. I wear this to work. I wear this all the time. The only thing I would say is it's a little warm, because Sandnes Garn Duo is half cotton, half wool. But you need the wool to like keep it shrunk in. Like cotton would just like get like flowy. So that's what Vitre Design, what she recommends, to use half cotton, half wool. And I think this yarn would be really perfect for this as well. It has the same properties as the Sandnes Garn Duo. So if you're thinking about making the Colette tee, I would highly recommend using the Mayflower, but make sure to use the DK weight version, not the like fingering version. So, because this holds up really well on 4mm needles. Oh yeah, and one thing I did is I only had 600 meters, which would be enough for a certain size, I don't remember. But what was it again? Oh yeah, I wouldn't have enough yarn. Okay, sorry. I wouldn't have enough yarn to make the size that I would need. So what I did is I knitted a size down, but went up a needle size. And it worked fine. So I did this on a 4.5mm needle. It's perfect. So I would definitely do it again, just the same way. The only thing was that the arms were too narrow, so I increased a little more. But all that information is on my Ravelry page, all those numbers. So if you're interested in that, just take a look at that. My Ravelry is still Stitch with Bree, which my account usually was before as well. All right, then for the crocheters, so this is not actually everything I knit, but also everything I crochet, because I also crocheted a sweater, which is the Malibu pullover by Kira. This is why I have my laptop, right? Because it will be on there. Kira Carnevali. Everything is in my Ravelry if you're interested in knowing anything about the projects a little more. Yeah, I knit this in hobby cotton, and I was inspired by someone on Instagram for the colors. They did that on like a sweater number 11 or something, and I thought that would be really cool to do for this sweater. So the sweater is just plain. I sketched out what I wanted to do for the color changing. So this yarn actually has some, yeah, you can see it really well, some glitter in it, and the dark blue yarn doesn't. And I never wear this sweater. I should. It's just like, the more you knit, the more you realize what you do and don't wear. And I think crocheted sweaters are maybe a little bit too heavy for me, because the holes make it, you want to wear it in the summer, but then this is pretty heavy. I should just have this on like a pile for like summer wear, and then just be like, okay, I'm gonna wear it. Because it's a really nice sweater. There's nothing that I don't like about it, really. It's just like a little bit, it's a lot of fabric, it's a lot of yarn because of crochet. There's one more crochet thing in here, by the way, but I didn't remember when I knitted it, or crocheted it, sorry. And it's also not in my Ravelry, so you'll see it in a little bit. Next up is another test knit. These are the Ethereal Socks by House of Buglea, and I knitted these in hobby 4-ply sock yarn. And this was the first time doing color work on socks, and I failed. Basically, I don't know, it's like really gapey and holy, and I tried to go up to a 3mm needle to make sure I had enough stretch, which that worked out. But I never wear them because they're just too large and floopy. But maybe that's also, I make my socks always in needle size down, so I always make them on 2mm needles. I love the snug fit of socks, so maybe that's why. And I might give these to a friend, because she was here one time, and then I just finished them, and then she tried them on and she really liked the way they fit. She just didn't like the ruffle, so I would take the ruffle out. Yeah, so Ethereal Socks. Yeah. Next up, I need to hurry up, I'm already talking for a long time. And there's still more and more to come. Next up is the Camisole number 3 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is, in my opinion, not a camisole. So I also didn't pick it out for it to be a camisole. What's that? I wasn't looking for a camisole. I was looking for a slipover. And then I thought I want a summery slipover because I wear my slipovers all the time to work, and I need more. And then I thought I need slipovers for in the summer, because then I can wear it over a blouse or something. So I made this one. It's in brioche, and this was my first ever brioche pattern or knitting, which if you've never knitted brioche before, just do it. You'll be okay. Really, just like know how to do it. It's different in round and in back and forth. And one of them was easier, back and forth, flat. So flat, knitting brioche flat is easier than knitting it in the round. That's a good one to know, because it was like more enjoyable here than here, and usually it's the other way around, right? When you're making a stockinette, anything. So it has these increases on the front and decreases, and the back is like a little more simple. I don't think I did anything different than the pattern. And I knitted this in this mercerized cotton, which is mercerized is like superwash for cotton. and it made it stretch out a lot. And also, oh yeah, the pattern, the armholes were really, really big. So they came up to like super large. And I was wearing them and my nephew started like poking my ear and I was like, okay, is this strange? I don't know. Maybe that's something weird to tell, but then I was like, I don't want to wear it to work. I just didn't feel like it was flattering at all. And then what I did, and I discussed this in one of my podcasts, but I went back to it. So I already finished it in like, let's see when I finished it. I finished it in June. So we're already in June. But there's a lot more to come, so don't worry. I finished it in June, but then I came back with it like in September or something, October. And then I ripped out the I-cord along the armhole and I re-knitted that, picking up less stitches. And now it's really nice and I love wearing it, but it's too cold now. Well, you can always wear cotton, but it's more for the summer months. Next up, another cotton knit. This is, I cast this on as soon as it came out. This is Camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I knitted this in We Are Knitters Pima Cotton in this colorway. And I really enjoy it. I really like it. It's perfect. I would make another one. The only thing is with cotton, but maybe that's just me, I just machine wash it. And then it doesn't smell as nice. I don't know, like all my knitwear always smells so nice. And then this just, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but that doesn't matter for you guys. So I really like wearing this and people really give me compliments on this one whenever I wear it. And I think I'm gonna make another one because it's so useful. It's like such a staple, basic top, but I made it in crazy color, so it makes it a little less basic, but yeah. It's nice. I'm like folding all the all the knitwear, but I'm gonna like try it on later to insert the video. So really nice them being really neat here. All right, next up, so I went through my first pile. Now there's the second pile, so bear with me. Next up is my Biene V-neck by Gregoria Fibers, and I did this as a test knit. I really wear this one so much. I knit this in Drops Melody, which is this like super floofy yarn, and it has a folded neckline where I did one modification, and that's I did a purl row where the fold was, and I think that adds it makes it a little nicer. And I just blocked it so it smells like the Eucalyptus lavender. If I would make a change, I would put in so it has a provisional cast on the shoulder, so it's like seamless. But actually, if you knit with a yarn like this or have like really dramatic drop shoulders, sometimes a seam can be really beneficial. And I've noticed that in a mohair sweater that I've finished recently, so in 2023, so I'm not going to show it today. But when it like stretches down, the seam on the shoulders really holds the structure of the sweater, which I would think would be good for this sweater as well. But maybe that's because I used the Drops Melody. But I wear this all the time. I wear this is like one of my work from home sweaters basically, with a turtleneck underneath. It's really nice. Next up is this top, which is something that I also wear all of the time. So you can see the pattern here. At the start of 2022, I was like, I just need to finish stuff quick and or something. I don't know. I was like in this like, I wanted to have products, and then I ended up not wearing them. And then later on, like now, I made like projects. I did projects that required a lot more work, but then I loved the finished piece a lot more. So this is the Sassy Classy Crop Top by maanknitwear, and I knitted it in Knitting for Olive cotton merino, which is 70% cotton and 30% merino, I think. And it's great. It's really nice. I have nothing bad to say about this at all. I love her patterns. They are very like skilled. So I love it because it like makes me learn new stuff. And also here, like there's like, I won't give away too much, but there's short rows for the shoulders instead of for the back. And that's like intended because the front should stand up a little higher. But you'll see it when I wear it in this little cutouts. Yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Dark ochre, by the way, is the colorway. Beautiful. Next up is another great one. And this actually didn't take that much time. But this is the, which one is it again? The Summer Secret Crop. Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Made Designs, which is an awesome designer, and I follow her on Instagram, and I'm like a really big fan of hers. I think she's awesome. Yeah, there's not that much to say about this. I knitted it in, what was it again? It was something with cashmere in it. Handmade in fine yarn cashba in fire opal. And I got this from Miss D Stash. It was only €7. I knew it was like €30. I was, haha. And the nice thing about this pattern is that you can make it with like one skein. It's knitted on 4.5mm needles. So at first I was like, that's never gonna work. It's gonna be way too loose, but really it's perfect. It's like perfect underlayer, perfect summer top. When I was in South Africa, I wore this all the time together with that one and another camisole that will come up soon. So this one is Sassy Classy Crop Top and camisole number 8. That will be almost next. Because next up is my first attempt for an own design, and I've never made this into a design because I am not very happy of how it like took the test of time. But this is knitted in, so this is the Milky Way sweater by me, maanknitwear. And I knitted this in a mercerized cotton. And as I said with my camisole number 3, the mercerized cotton really like stretches out. It's like superwash. So superwash yarn wool also like stretches out over time, or like with blocking and stuff. And the mercerized cotton does the same thing with them for cotton. And cotton is already kind of like droopy compared to wool. So yeah, if I want to make this into a pattern, I need to rework it and also think about the big V-neck that I made, if that's the best idea with all the holes. But I do like it. I do wear it in the summertime. It's like the same thing as the crocheted sweater, but then a little less yarn because it's not crocheted. So it's a little less heavy. So yeah. Then this is the other thing that I wear all the time in the summertime. My camisole number 8, which is this beautiful, beautiful cable. Yeah, I just blocked it, so it just looks flawless right now. By My Favorite Things Knitwear, knitted in pure silk by Knitting for Olive, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And when I just finished it, I didn't like it because it was see-through, so know that if you want to make this top, or any top really, in the pure silk, but especially with cables because of the parts in the middle. See how that's like more see-through? Yeah, so I didn't like that part, and also the armholes were huge. And then I put elastic in just before I went to South Africa for 2 months, and I ended up wearing this top all the time. And I would suggest picking up less stitches for the neckband and the armholes if you want to knit it. So there's my little tip. Next up is my socks. So that's how I call them on Ravelry. I made a video about these socks because I love knitting toe-up socks. I think that's like just the easiest thing to do. And I made a video about that, which is my most viewed video on YouTube. So if you're interested, it's like I take you along with me knitting these and I give you some tips. So it's kind of like a vlog tutorial kind of thing. Yeah, and I knitted these in VMCJ yarns, which I bought from Instagram, a dyer who puts her stuff on Instagram. I really like them, they're really cute. And the contrast is the Hobby 4-ply sock yarn. Yeah, so if you're interested, you can watch that video, then you know a lot more about it. Yeah, super nice. Afterthought heel, by the way. So toe up, afterthought heel. So you just have a tube and you can knit. Then here is that other crocheted item, a hat. And I think, sorry, I'm just like putting it on the, I knitted this in 2 strands held together of, look how ridiculous I look. There. Of Hobby Severa yarn. So in the green tea and Arctic blue. And I used the pattern, I don't know if I followed it completely, but I made 2 hats from Tiny Couch Crochet. And it's the Snowdrift beanie there. See, I do remember. The Snowdrift beanie. And I tested it for her. So I did a test crochet back in 2021. And then I switched yarns halfway. So I did for this one too. And she really liked that. So she like shared some pictures of my hats that I made. But yeah, 8mm crochet hook. So yeah. Okay, 1 sip of tea. All right, we're almost there. Just a few more patterns to go. Let's see, I have, okay. Next up is actually my first muscle burrow hat, which I knitted in these 2 yarns, in the black and the lilac. And my boyfriend wears it all the time, so he has it with him now. Then, oh, I forgot to mention a pair of socks that I made for him that he's also wearing right now, I think. I couldn't find it, so I haven't included it, but that's okay. Next up is, I think, my most beautiful sweater of the year, my Alpenglow. So this was Andrea Maury's Rhinebeck sweater of this year, and I love it. I just love it. I knitted it in different kinds of yarns together. So the blue and the black is Baby Merino by Drops. The light blue here is Drops Brashed Alpaca Silk. And the green that slowly fades into like reddish is VMCJ sock yarn, like a Christmas blend actually, but I think it works really well in here. So yeah, I love it. I wear it all the time. I made the size 3 or something, so I have a lot of negative ease, but perfect. I love it. It works. It fits perfectly. I love this sweater. Highly recommend. It's a quick knit because it's like tight. I don't know. This is like big and loose, and all of the sweaters that are popular right now are big and loose, but this one is like knitted on a small needle. So yeah. Then next up is my other muscle borrow hat, which I knitted for myself. And I'm just gonna put it like this because let's see, what was the yarn? It was another yarn that I bought from Hobby, and I bought it like a long time ago, and I didn't remember, like I didn't know how much yarn I would need for any project. So then I just ended up making it into a muscle borrow hat, and it was the Mayflower Easy Carrot Cotton Merino Classic. Now, that's not true. It's not cotton merino. No, that's the other yarn. That's this one. Question: if you if you're interested, just I'll update my Ravelry and put it in there, because it's not the cotton merino. This was 100% superwash merino, and here you can see. So if you don't know, the muscle borrow hat is like a folded hat, so it's double thick, and I love it. It's so warm. It's like, that's the thing with this one, is I made it, I was cold, I put it on, and I was still cold because it's like so gapey, you know. But this one is double layered, so it's super warm. And if you do this, then it's 4 layers. Okay, just 3 more projects to show you. Next up is another design of mine, which is the sky slipover, and I knitted this. This is what I was talking about, the crazy colors. Yeah, so I knitted this in an acrylic yarn, a bulky acrylic yarn on 10mm needles, and I'm still debating whether or not to turn this into a pattern. I do think it's like something new because of this construction. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. Yeah. Okay. I like it. And then next up is another design, and that is actually in testing right now. And this is my first sample of my Kirsten Bosch socks. And as you can see, I've been wearing it, which is a good sign. It's always good to wear your knits. Yeah, my Kirsten Bosch socks, they're currently in testing. They'll be out very soon, maybe even when I have put this video up. I don't know. My testers are doing an awesome job. This is the long length, and I have a mid length that I finished not in 2022, so I don't show it today. Yeah, so I won't talk about the pattern too much because this is just everything I knit in 2022. This is Vilculana Aureda. This is VMCJ sock yarn in another Christmas blend. It's the same Christmas blend actually as the Alpenglow, so this is the rest of it. So it went from green all the way to this pink. So here you can like see that it slowly fades a little bit. Yeah, super nice. Afterthought heel. Go support maanknitwear. Follow me on Instagram. Yeah, no, my first ever design, so it's pretty fun. And then lastly, final, oh no, 2 more. I forgot one. It's behind you. So next one is, maybe this one is my favorite. Now the Alpenglow is my favorite. Yeah, the Alpenglow is my favorite. This is knit in Noro category in the shade Naha, and it is the Mod Tee, which is a polo neck design by Petite Knits, and this is the sweater version of the Mod Tee. She also released, I think, a fingering weight, like long sleeved version, or she's gonna release it soon or something. But a lot of people have been modding her mod tee to a sweater, including me. The only thing I would do differently is I would add in buttons, because I thought this is like a summery yarn. So I would wear in the summer, so I would just have it open. But actually in the evenings in the summer when it's cold, you do want this closed, to like close this up, because this gets cold. But a lovely viewer recommended that I could do an afterthought buttonhole, which I should research. Yeah, so that will be something I might mod in the mod I will adjust in the future to this sweater, but for now it's beautiful. It still needs to be blocked, but other things had priority blocking, such as this one. This is really my final thing I show you today. This is my Frill Seeker camisole, knitted in 1 strand of mohair. The pattern suggests 2 strands, but I did it in 1 strand, except for the frill. No, I did the frill in 1 strand too. This is a design by Lauren Aston Designs, and I knitted it in Cowgirl Blues mohair in navy, which pulled, but that's what happens with hand-dyed yarn. Yeah, and I knitted this in like 3 days for Christmas, because I was in South Africa and I wanted to wear something nice and Christmassy. So I just like knitted and knitted and knitted. And I knitted it on 5.5mm needles. The pattern suggests 6. I would suggest 6. So I would do it in 6 if I would do it over, but I don't think I'm gonna knit another one of these. This is like all you need for this type of top. Like you don't need 2 of these. I don't think. I don't know. It's like different on the Colette tee. Yeah. So with that, I'm finished. That was it. So yeah. So which of these designs would you like to cast on? Let me know. I would love to hear about it. And if you like this video and you like me, I guess, talking about knitting, then consider subscribing, and please like this video, and leaving a comment really helps as well. And then I can keep talking about knitting, because I really like doing that. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.